everybody, it's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, with another 10ish-minute review off the viewer poll. Listen, I want to apologize. I screwed up. I put a post out about a week ago where I asked you guys to help narrow down, or not narrow down, but out of all the films that have been recommended by you guys, which one should I watch first based on my taste in films? You guys obviously know what I like. And someone said to me, or someone sent me a comment that said, "Well, where are the movies?" And I didn't even realize that when I originally posted it, it didn't put the list of movies that I put in there. I didn't know it till today, so I reposted it and I put the movies. I put the movie list there, and some of you already responded, so I appreciate that. So thank you for that. Now, some of you are saying, "Don't watch these. Watch this." But this list is the original list off the viewer poll that I did. So I'm going to watch them. And I'm sure I'm not going to like all of them, but I'm going to watch them. And like fan, I loved SRK. Movie was okay, just okay. So and also give you a little heads up. In 2 weeks, the Big Show is going to review Barfi, which I loved, and I'm dying to see if they're going to feel the same way about it that I did. And then next week, we're actually going to review a choice that you guys made of a Hollywood film you wanted us to watch, and it's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which I have never seen. So we're going to do that next week, and then Barfi the week after. Okay, so today, today, I'm going to review 2013's Goa Gone, which is a zombie film. And a couple of people recommended this. And what's interesting is last week on the Big Show, another Indian Cinemaniac suggestion, Hollywood film, was Train to Busan, which we watched and reviewed last week. Actually, it should be coming out if not today, tomorrow. So that review is already coming out. So last night I said, you know what? I read the description of this and I said, I think I'm going to watch this film for two reasons. So some of the films I've been watching have been a little heavier than this one for sure. And Shaun of the Dead is I love that movie. I'm a big fan of that movie. And there's a little of that in this film. So that's what I watched. This film was directed by Krishna D.K. and Raj Nidimoru, who are directors of stuff that I've seen from The Family Man. It stars Saif Ali Khan, who I've seen in a bunch of stuff, Dil Chantahai, Omkara, and recently Sacred Games. And this was very different for him in a good way. Kunal Kemmu, who's in Simmba, Veer Das, who was in Dehli Belly, another film I really liked. And this film definitely had that vibe going through it. Anand Tiwari, who was in Barfi, and Puja Gupta, who I've never seen in anything, but I'd like to see in a few more things, if you know what I'm saying. And I think you do. Okay. So, first of all, it's supposedly shot in Goa. Well, the film takes place in Goa, but most of it was shot in Mauritius. Mauritius. I never heard of that place before. Okay, so I'm not going to. Okay, the story. The story is a couple of stoners, and this is very. I'm not sure if it's pro drug or anti drug. It ends up anti drug, but it's definitely pro drug at the beginning because all they're doing is sitting around getting high. So three guys, kind of like the Three Stooges, kind of like Dehli Belly, actually, um, go on a trip. Supposed to be a work trip for one of the guys. They turn into a vacation. And the reason they're doing this is because Bunny, no, not Bunny. I'm sorry. Bunny was the guy who was supposed to go for work. So it is Love, right? Love. He wants to change his life. So him and his buddy Hardick, who's pretty funny, I think, sitting around the couch getting high, and he starts thinking about his relationship and where his life is going. Love is, and decides he's going to change. No drugs, no alcohol. They got this big scene. He shaves. He cleans himself up. No drugs, no alcohol. He goes out to dinner with his fiance, or that he thinks will be, and wants to propose. And the whole thing gets blown up, and she's got somebody else, and she's been seeing somebody else, and she's going to break up with him. It's a funny scene in a bar. But the funniest scene in the movie is he leaves the ring on the table that he bought her, and she picks up. She goes, "Oh my God, that's beautiful." He goes, "Yeah, that was your engagement ring." So then he grabs the ring and says "f off" to her. And there's a lot of f bombing in this film. A lot of f bombing. I thought that was funny. Now, so now they go on this. They go to this place and they get invited to a rave on an island that's pretty far out. And the only way they can get to this rave is if they take this little boat. And it didn't say Titanic, but the name of the boat was Titanic or something like that. It was just like Titanic. And they go over there. All right. Now they go to this rave and they each meet somebody, right? Love meets Luna, who's the female lead. She's played by Gupta. And she is, first of all, her first scene is in a bikini. And she's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So well, they don't hook up, but they get together. He tries to kiss her. She's offended, turns her away. Hardik meets a girl during the rave. They go on the beach and mess around. Okay. But while this is going on, they start handing out drugs, and they're these red pills. Okay. And everyone's taking the red pills, but our lead characters, they don't take the red pills. So now, the next day, they find out that everyone who took the red pills is now a zombie, including Hardik's girl that he screwed around with. She's now a zombie. And the movie is how do they get off the island? And through the course of the movie, they meet a character called Boris, not Boris, Boris, who's played by Saif Ali Khan, who this is like the goofiest I've ever seen him, and in a good way. It was just such a silly role. He's playing a Russian Mafia guy, right? All kinds of guns and stuff. Red hair, slick back, tattoos, sunglasses. Well, then you find out he's really from Delhi. He's doing this whole Russian thing, but then they realize he's from Delhi, and he was very funny. Um, so his introduction, which doesn't happen, you know, about half an hour into the movie, was a cool introduction. Very cool character. And when they finally hook up with him, because he's one of the survivors of the zombie apocalypse, his line is, I killed dead people. I killed dead people." Instead of "I see dead people." I got it. Also, a little Easter egg as a swarm of zombies starts heading for them. One of them is wearing black pants, a white shirt, and a red tie, which is Simon Pegg's character in Shaun of the Dead. So a nice call out to a similar genre movie. So that's the movie. Then they try to figure out how to get off the island and survive the zombie apocalypse. So I'm going to give the story. I mean, it's a zombie movie. I'll give it a 3. I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't, I mean, some things didn't make any sense. Who got the pills? Who created the pills? Why the party was supposedly run by the Russian Mafia, which Boris, not Boris, was a part of, but somehow he escaped. So he obviously didn't do the drugs because he was dealing with cocaine. So it was a 3. The performances, listen, I loved it. I thought it was really funny. I read some of the reviews and some people are hard on it, but I think for the most part, people like it. Was a silly movie. It was one of these movies where you turn off a section of your brain and you just enjoy it. It was under 2 hours. I thought it was really funny. It was very interestingly shot, the camera movement and stuff. They did this thing where every time they'd introduce a character, they'd freeze frame it, then kind of paint it, and then put the character's name. They did that a lot. I thought that was kind of cool. But the performances were really good. The 3 leads I thought were pretty funny. They had good chemistry together. The girl was okay. I mean, she was beautiful, but she was just all right. She was someone that they were dragging around. She had a little bit to do, but not much. And the way they talk about the zombies and how to kill the zombies, that was all funny. But the performances, I'll give them a three. I give Saif Ali Khan a four only because it was so different from anything that I've seen him in, and he seemed to really love it. And I hear that there's a Goa Gone 2 coming out, which, I mean, it says it's in production. I don't know if that's true or not, but this movie definitely sets up a sequel. So like I said, I'll give overall the performances a three. I thought they were great. I thought it was really funny. Um, the music, the good thing about this film, and something that you guys know I'm not a huge fan of, depending on the film, there wasn't a lot of musical numbers. In fact, the only real musical number, and it wasn't even a real musical number, was the first time they get on the island and go to the party. Then that music went on for a long time. Everything else was pretty much background music, and it worked. It was silly when it needed to be. It was a little suspenseful when it needed to be. So I really enjoyed the music too. So I'm going to give the music a three. Nothing spectacular, but it didn't annoy me like sometimes it does. Um, Oh, and there's a final song during the credits too about Herb is Grace's God, which is a pro marijuana song. And that played during the credits, and they're back on the couch getting stoned. So overall, I got to give the movie, based on everything that I've said, I got to give it a three. But I did. I mean, I found myself laughing, and especially after Train to Busan, which was such a serious film. But there was some things. I like. There was a scene where they thought Bodice thought Hardick was a zombie. So they're doing all these tests to prove he isn't a zombie, and he's not, because once you get bit, it happens pretty fast, and he's right there. So he's not a zombie. But Boris is doing all these tests. Also, they do this thing, and I've only seen this in one other movie, one other TV show, and it was Merzipur, Death by Flashlight. So this was made before Merzipur, and this had another death by flashlight. So that's two I've seen, one in an Indian TV series, one in an Indian film. They also had this line, what do we know? What have we learned? And that's a thread throughout the movie, including the zombies. His ex-girlfriend that dumped him, she ends up becoming a zombie. So he's pretty happy about that. Now, Hardick, there's a scene where they're running from the zombies. They're trying to get to the boat, and he finds this little. I apologize for not knowing the name of it, but it looks like a little altar, and he's praying to the god. I'm not sure which one because you couldn't see it; it was kind of blocked. Um, but he kept talking about what he was going to do if he came out of this, and his last thing he said was, as he's praying, I'm going to watch a little porn, though. I can't lie to you. In other words, I can't lie to you, God. So that was funny. And the other thing was to neutralize the zombies. They sprinkled cocaine on them, and that freezes them, which I thought was funny. And then they got this. Now they've got Boris has a bag of guns, right? Shotguns and pistols and stuff. Well, his right hand man, Nikolai, big guy, turns into a zombie. And at one point in the film, he's on this giant platform, and Boris's character's got the shotgun, but he's out of bullets, and this guy's jumping off, going to try to jump onto Boris. So the girl, Luna, pulls his rocket launcher out of the bag, and he points the rocket launcher as he's about halfway, hits Nikolai. Nikolai goes flying. That was convenient that there was a rocket launcher there. And then the final message of the film. So at the end, they get off the island. Before the very end, they get off the island, and they each have learned something, right? Uh, Love says drugs are bad. Hardick says he's learned to be more respectful of women. And then Bodice, not Boris, says karma is a bitch. So the whole zombie apocalypse, don't do drugs, be respectful of women, and karma's a bitch. And then the final scene, they get back to the mainland. They walk over a hill, and all you can see is burning buildings, and it looks like a complete wreck. So obviously, the zombies have come back, and someone says, "I think, oh shit," and then the five of them, it freezes, and then it gets painted and says "the end." That's how it ended. So yeah, this was a fun movie. I think Ralph would like this movie. Again, it's so different from other. It did really remind me of Dehli Belly. It had that same feeling, same language, same kind of drugs was a big part of it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. So thank you. And a couple of you recommended it. That's why I don't have one person who recommended it. So thank you for that. It was a nice change of pace from some of the stuff that I've been watching recently. So thank you for that. Okay, so the next film I am going to watch, and some of you are telling me to be a little cautious about this one because it's very political, but it's Article 370. I don't know anything about the film, but a few of you have commented that it is political and you're not quite sure if I'm going to like it or not. But you know what? So far, even the ones I haven't been crazy about, I haven't hated him. Let's put it that way. So I'm looking forward to it. Article 370. So I appreciate everybody who watches. I appreciate all of you who comment. And don't be afraid to go over to the other show too. Take a look at some of the other movies, non-Indian, that we're doing. We appreciate that. We wouldn't mind you guys coming over. That's why we did that poll with movies that you can pick. So take a look at that viewer poll or viewer choice thing that I put out. That's going to list all the movies that I'm going to watch. Some of you have. It's funny because a few of you have said you should watch these three first. One of them is Johnny Gadar. A bunch of you have said I should watch that, one of the first ones. So that might be the one after Article 370. That looks, I don't know anything about it. So, but a lot of you said, based on my taste, I might like that. So anyway, I'm rambling. That's it. 10ish minute review. I appreciate you guys watching. Look for the next one, and we'll talk to you soon with another viewer choice 10-minute review. Drugs are bad. Respect women. Karma